Families are beautiful until boundaries are established. You may not know how important boundaries are in your marriage or in your relationships until you set them. I believe that boundaries help to build authentic relationships. When you have boundaries set in your marriage, it helps to also protect your spouse. It also helps to protect your family. And today we're going to talk about the importance of boundaries in dealing with in-laws. The importance of boundaries in dealing with in-laws. You could have overbearing parents. You could have jealous siblings. You could even have cultures, traditions, expectations from families, from communities, from your village, that actually seeks to intrude into your family relationship or into your marriage. And so it's important to understand that as a married couple, you need to set boundaries to protect your family. You need to set boundaries to protect your marriage. And you need to set boundaries to also build authentic relationship with, your family members. Because people don't know how weak their relationships are when there are no boundaries. So until boundaries are set, that's where you know if the person in that relationship is actually in that relationship with you or not with you. So one thing we have to establish is the fact that families are important. Okay, in getting married, families are important. You get married to families, or you get married into families, so you're not an isolated human being, or you don't isolate yourselves, when you get married. You have parents who would give their blessings, you have siblings, you have relatives, you have kinsmen, and depending on the culture, certain family members can really be powerful. Okay, so you don't want to relegate that or think that it is not important. So families are important, and it's important to have that in mind. Some cultures can actually really empower families to be an integral part of your marriage. But then you also need to understand that it can influence decision making. It can influence the power dynamics in your marriage. It can influence parenting. It can influence holidays. It can influence a lot of things if you don't actually set boundaries. Okay, even as things as early as decision making during your marriage, or during your wedding. Okay, so I've seen how relationships get messed up even with the wedding plans, where the parents want this color while the children who are actually getting married don't have a say, or because they didn't set boundaries or they didn't insist on what should happen in their wedding. And because they didn't set boundaries from the beginning, you find out that by the time the marriage starts, the parents, the siblings, everyone still wants to intrude and influence that relationship. And so you can't do without boundaries in your marriage, because boundaries will protect your spouse, boundaries will protect your marriage, boundaries will protect your children, boundaries will protect you, and boundaries would also help you build authentic relationships where you will be respected, where your wife or your husband will be respected because you actually did set boundaries. So this is really very important. And you must understand something about boundaries. Boundaries are not a wall or a fence. They're not a wall, but they are like a fence. Okay, they're not a wall where you can't pass through, but they're just like a fence to protect you. Okay, so healthy boundaries are important. And it's important to know what healthy boundaries are. They are boundaries that make people know their place in your marriage and in your life. Okay, so when you get married, you're no longer or shouldn't be under the influence or the control of your parents or your siblings. They shouldn't make decisions for you. Okay, don't be, for the men, don't be a mama's boy. For the ladies, don't be a mama's girl or a daddy's girl. Be that person. If you've made up your mind to get married, understand that you have become independent, okay? The two shall become one. They will leave their father and their mother. That's, the scriptures for you. And so what that means is that you have the capacity to make decisions yourself and make decisions together based on the family vision that you have. Okay, don't be that person where your parents control everything. They would determine where you live. They would determine the school your children will go to. They would determine the clothes that you even wear, the color of the dress you wear for your wedding. They would determine how you should parent your kids. They would determine everything. When you have parents or siblings who influence or make decisions for you, it's not healthy. Okay, and it will definitely impact your relationship. And so it's important to respectfully put your foot down. People don't know how far they can go, and how far they shouldn't go if there are no boundaries set. Be that person who can respectfully talk to your parents, talk to your siblings, and be firm about it. And when they see that you're firm and you're insisting on how your partner should be treated or how you should be treated and how they don't interfere in your marriage, everyone will back out. Okay? And I'll also say something that you should ensure that you treat, the man should handle his family. The lady should handle her family. But then both of you should discuss. If there are any member of your family that is trying to intrude or that is trying to influence your marriage, your decisions, it's important that the both of you agree as a husband and wife and to say, okay, we agree on this. This is how we are going to handle this issue. And you, the lady, if it's your mother, you go handle your mother. And if it's the guy, he also handles his family. That way, because you don't also want to sound disrespectful, you also don't want to be that person who is seen as, you don't have a right to talk to me. It's better that the lady handles her family, the man handles his family. Very important. And you can set boundaries without being offensive, without being rude. You can do it politely in a very nice way. So that's really very important. You know how a lot of people say, oh, my mother is more important than my wife. If we are in an accident and I need to save one person and my wife is there and my mother is there, I'm going to save my mother. If you're that man who thinks you will save your mother before you save your wife, you clearly do not understand what marriage means, okay? Because marriage means that the both of you are one. So you can't see yourself differently from your wife. As a woman, you can't see yourself differently from your husband. It means that you are saving yourself. And, if you travel by flight, you would find out that they would always say something that you should put on your own oxygen mask first before you put on the one of another person or of a child. So if you're in an accident, your wife takes priority. You save your wife first before you save your mother. So that's an analogy, but what I'm saying is your wife is more important. Your wife is your number one priority. Your wife or your husband, whichever one, is the most important human being on earth to you. Marriage has made it that way. And so all of this loyalty check thing, you should understand that your wife comes before your parents, because when you get married, you create your own nuclear family. You came out of a nuclear family, yes, but the moment you get married, you begin to build your own nuclear family. Your marriage, your family becomes your nuclear family, while your relationship with your parents and your siblings automatically becomes extended family. Okay, so it's important to have that in mind, because a lot of people have made very poor decisions because of how they think and how they see their spouses. So that is really very important. There are couples who are at a place where they feel like they are second place, or their partner have placed them as second place in their lives because their parents come first. If you feel that way, it's important to have a conversation with your partner. I know that there are men or women who have aging parents, and so they tend to take care of them. That's a special situation, and you could give time to take care of them, but ensure that your marriage doesn't suffer while you're trying to take care of your parents. Ensure that your marriage doesn't suffer while you're trying to be that good daughter or be that good son. Ensure that you make financial decisions in terms of even taking care of your parents or taking care of your family members. Ensure that the financial decisions you make them together. It is when you do things for your family and you don't have that conversation and agree with your partner, that's where they begin to feel like they're second place. So it's important to understand that if you feel like you're second place, have a conversation and realign and recalibrate that relationship. And for the person who is putting the partner on second place and putting their extended family as first place, you need to also realign. And you need to check that, okay? So it's important to have conversations, because conversations help to clear assumptions. Conversations also help to place traditions and culture where they're supposed to be. So it's important to continue to have conversations until you are at that place where you feel like your partner has placed you where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be number one. That's very important. I also have issues with people who have best friends. Oh, he is my best friend. The moment you get married, that best friend is no longer best friend. Your partner should be your best friend. Because a lot of people have used best friends to also negatively impact their relationships and make their spouses feel second place. So they say everything or discuss everything with their best friends, but they don't discuss it with their partners. The moment you get married, your best friend becomes second place. Your best friend stays under your partner. Your partner becomes your best friend. In fact, your best friend is no longer your best friend. Your partner is your best friend. Your partner should be your best friend. So that is really very important. One other thing that I also have to say, especially for men, protect your partners, protect your wives, protect your family, protect your children. The way parenting is done these days is different from the way our parents did their parenting style. Sometimes they want to bring that parenting style, when it comes to the way they handle their grandchildren, which are your children, maybe physically spanking them, and that may not be how you want to raise your kids. You must have these conversations. And like I said, let the partner whose parent is doing this be the one to talk to their parents. That is very important. Cultures can really can empower families, to be very influential in relationships. You must have a conversation while you're dating, even when you get married, to say, okay, we identify this culture, we identify this tradition. How do we handle it? Where do we place it? Because when you do that, it also helps to create those boundaries. And everyone will know that this is how you want to operate in your marriage. Honor your parents, respect them, but make sure you protect your partner. That is very important. Boundaries are not about rejections, they're about protection. You must also have this in mind. Marriage is not a three-way covenant. It's a covenant between you and your spouse. And so that's why you must have boundaries that protect the both of you. Keep family secrets, okay? And if your family can't respect your spouse, they don't respect your union. It's as simple as that. And so you must enforce it. And you do that through boundaries. I hope that, the many different things that I've said, you've been able to pick one or two things that can help improve your marriage, improve your relationship, and help you just build boundaries that protect your family, protect your spouse, protect your marriage. And like I said, boundaries help to build authentic relationships. Relationships where you'll be respected, where your partner will be respected, and where there'll be no intrusion. I hope this helps you. Have a wonderful time. Take care, guys. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye.